tunnel vision. I'm prison, work through precision. Now listen, I run my business. Y'all witness my discard hit list. Missing it's hard to gain. Tiptoeing inside my brain. Just flowing down water banks. I'm rolling up with the dang. I know I'm running late for my show. Hop in the whip and I go. Work tapatio nachos. Got my baby there for show. Let's go, we've run out of time. Putting my life on the line. Smash the show, then I unwind. I know I'm doing just fine. 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 Just fine. Just fine. Just fine. I'm staying focused. Your hocus pocus is bogus. Slow rolling into the ocean and knowing the tide is flowing. Going against the grain. No witnesses for the main. I mustard y'all niggas plain. So Calibur is the game. I know I'm running late for my show. Give me one game and I'll go. Work you up using Valdo. Go night night sleepy hollow. Let's go, we've run out of time. We hit the show and unwind. Taking good care of what's mine. I know I'm doing just fine. 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 Just fine. Just fine. Just fine.
Hello, what's up, everybody? How we doing?
Howdy.
We're back. We're back. It is officially Wednesday. Happy Veterans Day.
Yep. Happy War Crimes Day.
Yep, it is
You wanna
Imperialist
Yeah.
Day.
Load up my bowl real quick so I can make shit up and pretend it's stuff I've thought deep with, y'all.
Hey, what's up, Letty?
Got a
Yeah.
stacked lobby, it looks like. A lot of people in.
Yeah,
Yeah, welcome.
Gotta activate your brain.
the brain is
Yeah.
on. We are ready.
Brain on melt. Do we just want to jump straight in, or does anyone want to I mean, our last show was great. We got, as far as Twitch says, something like 300 viewers or something. So that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that is badass.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
obviously it's
big
been a
shout
pretty
out to
tumultuous week. Oh yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
everyone.
Do you want to jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, yeah. So first thing I'm gonna do, it's not too recent, but still a very important news. This is very similar to what we were talking about a couple of shows ago with Derek Chauvin, the killer of George Floyd, and how he's out on bail and ended up getting out. We have Kyle Rittenhouse, the Kenosha shooter. He was the man, or not the man, the child,
Boy,
the underage boy who owned an AR-15, even though he wasn't
This is
legally.
mom's, right?
Yeah,
Or
I think
something,
so.
yeah.
He wasn't legally allowed to have it. Drove across state lines to go defend somebody else's property. He was LARPing, and he just wanted to kill people. That's it. He's a psychopath and a terrible person. So, but because of our terrible criminal justice system, Mr. Rittenhouse is now he has his bail set at a beautiful $2 million. Most likely he's gonna get out. He could have already gotten out. I haven't been able to check an update on the story. I've just been fucking hella busy. We also went camping and stuff. But so yeah, we'll start here at the top of the article, just to give everybody like a refresher of who Kyle Rittenhouse is. Starting from the top here from the New York Times. Bail for Kyle Rittenhouse, an Illinois teenager accused of killing two men during a protest over a police shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Was set at $2 million on Monday as Mr. Rittenhouse made his first appearance in a Wisconsin court. The father of one of the men who died urged the court to not allow Mr. Rittenhouse's release, warning that he is a flight risk. Kyle Rittenhouse thinks he's above the law, and he's been treated as such by law enforcement, which is very true, said John Hubbard, the father of Anthony M. Hubbard, who was killed in the shooting. Mr. Rittenhouse has become a cause of that word, celebre, for conservatives who insists he acted in self-defense. Self-defense, from the conservatives mean defending somebody else's property, not his property, but also just killing minorities. So that's self-defense enough for conservatives.
Oh, yeah.
And donations have
Stand
poured
your
into
ground.
donations have poured into a legal defense fund on his behalf. Even President Trump suggested shortly after the shooting that Mr. Rittenhouse's actions were legitimate. He was trying to get away from them. I guess it looks like. Mr. Trump said in a news conference in August. Mr. Rittenhouse, 17, has been charged with 6 criminal counts, including first-degree intentional homicide for the shooting on August 25th that left 2 protesters dead and a third injured. The shooting occurred after a clash between demonstrators who were protesting a white police officer's shooting of Jacob Blake, a black Kenosha resident, and armed civilians with guns who said they had come to downtown Kenosha to protect businesses and private property after 2 nights of fires, looting, and destruction. Of course, New York Times, the bourgeois news, always have to put in that looting part, just to because they don't want to side with the left.
Did you say the Jew York Times? No, I'm just kidding.
When you look at the names of the people who control the media,
they're on our backs, so we stand up. No.
I always thought that was funny because if you actually it's a bunch of white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Yeah. It's WASP that can.
Really, the only one that was Jewish was fucking notable one was Barry Weiss. Didn't she fucking leave the New York Times?
Yeah, I mean, and
not that Jewish shit too. Not that she's good,
and not that somebody's religion has anything to do with power or anything. Yeah, but if you actually look at like what's real, it's white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Back to what I was saying. The hearing on Monday afternoon came as Mr. Trump was scheduled to hold a rally at the Kenosha Regional Airport on the final day of campaigning before Tuesday's election. A protest against Mr. Trump's appearance is set for Monday evening outside the Kenosha courthouse, where protesters has demonstrated in August. Mr. Rittenhouse spent nearly 2 months without bail in an Illinois detention center while his lawyers fought to prevent him from being returned to Wisconsin to face the criminal charges. According to the records filed as part of Mr. Rittenhouse's arrest, he turned himself into the police in Illinois, near his home, the day after the shooting. Mr. Rittenhouse was accompanied by his mother, the records show, and was crying at points. What a fucking little bitch! How you gonna drive across state lines, kill 2 people, injure a third, and then fucking be a little bitch and cry? Oh, they're arresting me.
Yeah, be a savage about it.
Yeah, seriously, be a fucking. If you're gonna be a fucking piece of shit,
just be a right-wing nut job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shot 2 white kids, he told the police, according to the records. Mr. Rittenhouse also told the police he had been hired to protect the businesses in Kenosha during riots and had to protect himself.
Which is patently false.
Well, yeah, not only false, but what the fuck? Who
hired him?
Property. It's buildings.
It's the Pendleton fucking... The Pinkerton Company?
Fucking CIA.
Yeah. Roger Stone?
Roger Stone, yeah.
Finishing it up really quick. Sam, old man name. That's a fucking weird-ass last name. The owner of an auto repair business near the initial shooting took place has said he did not hire Mr. Rittenhouse to protect his business. Mr. Rittenhouse remained in custody on Monday afternoon as bail had not been posted. If he were to be released, the court commissioner overseeing the hearing ordered Mr. Rittenhouse not to have contact with families of the men who were shot or to possess a weapon. So yeah, this is actually something that we can talk about, what's going on right now in California. We just recently had a proposition on ballot, Prop 25, right?
Well, look at that. Go to the second paragraph at the top. I'll reread it now. You can go back to that point. The father of one of the men who died urged the court not to allow Mr. Rittenhouse's release or give him bail, warning that he is a flight risk. And yeah, go ahead and talk about
so fucking
prop change, which failed to pass.
Yeah, which sadly failed to pass. But Prop 25, I believe it was ending the cash bail system in California and replacing it with a risk assessment that would base what crime you committed, and if you were a flight risk, if you were to skip your court date, they would allow you to just live your normal life until your court date.
Not that this is in California, but in this instance,
he
would have no bail because he fucking murdered somebody.
And it's super sad to see that Prop 25 didn't pass because the cash bail system is ultimately just a classist way to keep poor people in jail and allows rich people to commit crime. Because you commit a crime, get out on bail, and you're fucking.
When you look at these like really sensationalized things that like he's gonna easily make that money once they allow him to post it because all these right wing groups are gonna money to him.
Yeah, ever since the fucking shit happened, they've been trying to. And same thing, like Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd.
Exactly, big money. But when some black kid from fucking downtown Oakland or something steals some lady's purse or some petty crime. Like he's not, and he can't pay like a $300 bail or something.
Exactly, he's fucked, and he's there, and he's stuck in the system.
Yeah. Yeah. So, shame on our fucking criminal justice system for allowing, literal fucking domestic terrorists like this to walk free while, poor kids in the hood are fucking locked in jail.
And yeah, it fucking sucks to see that our United States is such a like draconian, like barbaric system of crime and punishment.
Yeah, absolutely. The police are the most obvious fucking extension of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we have any final thoughts? We'll move on to the next one.
I think we can move on here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we have this thing from the New Yorker. Jake, can you want to take this one?
Yes. Hold up. I'm kind of reading this one. Okay. We should still defund the police. Cuts to public services that might mitigate poverty and promote social mobility have become a perpetual excuse for more policing. This summer's uprising has forced a reckoning within the United States about the deep imprint of racism on our society. The public lynching of George Floyd pierced the veil of segregation that typically shrouds the realities in which millions of African Americans live. Straining under the mounting weight of Black Death, tens of thousands of African Americans killed by the rapid spread of COVID-19, the taped execution of Ahmaud Arbery, which I almost forgot about that, which is sad.
Yeah.
Has been pushed to the back of this whole. Continuing though, by two white men in Georgia, the reports of Breonna Taylor's brutal killing by Louisville police, and then Floyd's horrifying murder in Minneapolis brought home for a broader public the police state that exists in Black America. By June, the persistence and duration of the protests have produced historic changes in white people's perceptions. A national poll recorded an unprecedented shift in opinion. 71% of whites said that they think racism and discrimination are a, quote, big problem in the United States. Which, even that, the way that question is worded, it's like, it's surprising that it's so sad. It's only at 71%.
Yeah, right.
Racism is a big problem. And 55% said that the anger of the protests was fully justified. That's a much better figure to see. Just barely over half. In a different poll, 60% expressed support for the Black Lives Matter movement. This sea change in opinion was mirrored by a wave of public gestures of racial reconciliation, and a host of corporate executives acknowledged, if not accepted, genuine responsibility for their roles in sustaining regimes of racial inequality.
And I want to cut you off really quick.
Yeah.
Something like, I guess to talk about just like the polls really quick. It's like, it's insane to think that these numbers are like steadily rising over the years, but the Democratic Party still refuses to back this platform of
right now that majority of whites actually support
but I mean
the protests are justified.
Yeah, but I mean that's it's super fucking in line with the Democratic Party. They're not a populist party. They don't care about their base. They and they never have, never will, and that's why we need to fundamentally change the Democratic Party. And if we can't, we need to exit the party.
Little tab at the end though on that last sentence. This sea change in opinion was mirrored by a wave of public gestures of racial reconciliation. As a host of corporate executive acknowledged, if not accepted, a genuine responsibility. Yeah, I kind of disagree with that part. I do think the first part is true. They did make public gestures of
Exactly. We didn't get anything real. We just got like Black Lives Matter painted on the fucking.
Yeah, Target isn't giving people reparations or anything, so.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pick up where you
Yeah.
left off. Starting back on it, NASCAR renounced the flying of the Confederate flag at its events. 2020, like what the fuck? Still allowing people to rock the Confederate flag, the loser flag, the anti-American flag, that participation trophy. Fucking, they try to leave the country because we try to take away their slaves, and they're fucking losers. Yeah. At Juneteenth, on Juneteenth,
Watch our old video that we have the Gravel.
Yeah.
Suit.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's
you got the hat on right now, right?
What's up? Oh yeah, I do. I got
right
the Gravel Institute hat on. Shout out to Gravel Institute. Long and informal day of celebrations among some African Americans was suddenly institutionalized as a paid holiday. Former President George W. Bush condemned systemic racism at one level. The rapid, reflective default to offering symbolic recognition of racism was quite typical. It's funny that George W. Bush said that when he started the Iraq wars, and you have the military-industrial complex, you have the you have military recruiters in poor black neighborhoods snatching our children out of our communities, sending them off to go die in these fucking wars for natural resources. So it's funny to note that George Bush said that.
Just for viewers, Carlos and I have expended our last complimentary article from the New Yorker, so fuck the New Yorker.
Yeah.
Yeah, just we don't got shit.
And then we'll continue on a little bit, then we'll get out of here, or get out of this article. At one level, the rapid reflexive default to offering symbolic recognition of racism was quite typical. No other country engages in the cavernous nothingness of the fake. I don't know if I agree with that one either. This fucking article is kind of weird.
Yeah, let's move on from it though.
Yeah.
Let's get, and I think this is much more important news. Well, not that defunding the police. Well, we can kind of steer this. So let's just use that as a talk piece, like, and to put back into like the first article we had read, like, all around our fucking criminal justice system is fucked. Like, if anything, this movement shows, and as Ian pointed out too, like, it's crazy that the Democratic Party has not reciprocated, the fucking feelings of the general population. And even now, which is the first time in, our history, like, most whites are actually like, hey, maybe racism is a problem. And even then, Democrats are still, only doing generic panders to changing the racial problems in this country.
And beyond that, they go as far as to defend the system and attack people who want to change it. Like Bernie Sanders, what happened when he talked about how he wants like people like felons in prison to vote?
Oh,
what the fuck? They creamed him.
Like, you want the Boston bomber?
Yeah, you want the Boston bomber and rapist to vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they rather uphold this system and then be like, Black Lives Matter, than like.
Or Kamala in that famous little TED Talk thing she did where she's like, less prisons, more schools is a great slogan, but we have to be realistic.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris's entire history with anything related to like prison jailing is just atrocious.
We have to be realistic about the profits of prison labor.
Yeah. Oh, the margin. We got to keep the margins.
Anybody who says we got rid of slavery is a fucking liar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's a big part of it. The Democratic Party forever has always been this mouthpiece of, we are the party of the people, etc., etc., but will do everything in their power to uphold the status quo and destroy any sort of, reform coming from the left. They'll obviously move right, which I guess isn't progress; it's regressing.
Or if at the very least, just roll over to the right.
Exactly. They'll meet in the middle on some insane shit with the right, but will just absolutely just smear and destroy the left. That was my bad on that article. I guess
No, we're good.
I just skimmed
do you
through
have any general thoughts on this before we move on?
Carlos?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move to the next article then. So we have here. Doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
Doo-doo-doo. We just make Windows sounds. This is a little old, but this was, crazy, obviously. Well, we're going to have a couple decent Bolivia pieces here.
Mm-hmm.
Bolivia's president, this is from Telesur, Bolivia's president-elect, Luis Arce, attacked with dynamite. The socialist leader was attacked while he was at a meeting in La Paz City. There's no report of injuries. On Thursday night, the Movement Towards Socialism spokesperson, and we know now that we don't believe there was any injuries still. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, and he got, we don't have this in the show, but Luis Arce got sworn in. They got him in, sworn him in, all that deal. So good to see. Spokesperson Sebastian Michel denounced that Bolivia's president-elect Luis Arce was attacked with dynamite while he was in a meeting at the party's headquarters in La Paz City. No injuries were reported. The authorities of the coup-born regime, led by Janine Áñez, have not commented on what happened so far. And they still haven't, by the way.
And they won't.
They won't, absolutely. Quote, we have not seen any statement on the subject from Interior Minister Arturo Murillo, which was the far-right candidate that was running in the last election. We feel that we are totally unprotected. No one provides us with the security guarantees that our authority requires, Michel said during a television interview. The incident took place on the day in which some groups of the Bolivian far right began a strike in Santa Cruz in rejection of the result of the presidential elections held on October 18th. You can skip down to the... But that's continued on, too. There's been multiple new attacks, and as we'll get into, there's been censorship tied to this, too. In previous days, other incidents of violence and aggression against the social and union organizations that support the Socialist Party were also registered. As a result of one of those attacks, as we covered, mining leader Orlando Gutierrez died on October 28th. Michel strongly rejected the declarations of right-wing politicians who try to confuse the Bolivian citizens by insinuating that the socialists would be arming popular militias, which, popular militias, you fuck. They've won 2 elections now, back to back.
Yep.
The government of Luis Arce will not allow any irregular armed group in Bolivia or the use of weapons, the MAS spokesperson stressed, as local outlet EJU reported. So, they're just covering their 6 there. But yeah, that just want to touch on that, discussing the fucking coup regime. Hopefully, no more indigenous people, no more fucking, none of the left, none of the people that have just taken power in the country, finally, after being repressed for so long. Hopefully, obviously the right is not going to let up, and the fucking CIA and shit is not going to let up on their ops they're doing there, but let's just hope the best for them.
Yeah, we can only hope that they continue to move forward. Yeah,
and just offer our own solidarity, I guess. Yeah. Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. This is from I haven't heard of this publication.
Orinoco
Tribune. Yeah. Seems like they have good work.
Mm-hmm. So, starting off just with the title, Evo Morales is sarcasm. If there was a fraud, Donald Trump should go to the OAS's Luis Almagro. So it's just a witty comeback from our boy Evo here.
For those that don't know, the OAS is they're basically a CIA front that fucking calls elections in Latin America.
They oversee the legitimacy of elections,
right?
Which basically means whoever they want to win wins. But so it's a funny remark to come back at Trump for all the we need to stop the votes. I mean, we need to keep voting. I mean, we need to continue the votes, but only my votes. If it's Joe Biden, don't vote.
We need to make sure we only count the legal votes.
Right.
Yes, legal votes are my votes. That any vote for Biden is illegal.
We don't want to diminish your vote.
It is funny the OAS is only restricted to like Latin countries though, because it stands for the Organization of American States. It's like hilarious.
And then starting off at the top here, in one of his last interviews before traveling to Bolivia, to the return to his homeland. Also, we have something to talk about him coming back. is scheduled for November 9th, which has already come. Evo Morales stated his opinion on the United States elections, where there is still no confirmation on who will be the next president. For the ex-president, however, it does not matter who wins. The North American people vote, but do not rule, which is transnational corporations rule.
Yeah, super hot fire.
Hard. And so
that'll get you cooed alone for just saying
no
that.
shit. Yeah.
Referring ironically to the coup that he suffered as president of Bolivia in 2019, Morales added that if there is fraud, Donald Trump should go to Luis Almagro, Secretary General of the Electoral Monitor Organization of American States, or the OAS. In relation to the query on judicial move by Donald Trump's lawyers, the leader of the Bolivian Movement for Socialism responded, "When the right wing loses, it makes accusation of fraud," he remarked during the interview with the television network RT. Shout out RT. In addition, the ex-president stressed that for Bolivian society, nothing changes in economic terms if Joe Biden or Trump wins, which is super true.
So cool to see how much clarity they have.
Yeah.
Compared to people here.
And yeah, this is all happening at the same time. Like, Evo got cooed. He was forced into hiding. He just returned to his country. There was just an election where the socialists beat the far right coup in an election. Like, and he still has more clarity on what's going on in the United States than most people in the United States, and especially Republican politicians.
Yeah, sometimes we need this outside perspective. It's probably a lot easier for people around the world to see how bad things are here than sometimes even we are.
And then continuing on, he has another quote here. The only difference would be that a fascist and racist right will lose to a moderate right, which is super true. Like Joe Biden is just your most like typical run of the mill like conservative Democrat, pretty much a Republican. So we're not getting a lot. We're not getting a real win really. We're just we're putting additional hurdles in the inevitable battle of fascism in the United States.
Plus, the problem with Joe Biden too is you look at his record. He's a notorious liar, just like Donald Trump. So like you really can't believe a word he says. You can only go straight to his record, and that's just
not good.
Yeah,
I said at the beginning of the primary, I thought he was a worse candidate than Hillary Clinton just off his record alone.
Yeah, I think you could still make that argument now, just off a record alone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, yeah, we got a worse candidate now than Hillary. So
who would have thunk?
Yeah, we can skip this part right here because it just talks about Morales is coming back. We're starting here off at once installed. The former president of Bolivia stressed that one of the plans will be to reactivate all the construction for so many paralyzed workers. It also intended to inject bonds and resources to face the economic crisis left by the de facto government. Of course, Evo repeated again that he will not be part of the government of Luis Arce. According to reports on Monday morning the 9th, Morales will leave for Jujuy, and then cross the land border from La Quiaca to Villazon. Once in his homeland, he will make a historic trip that will last 3 days by road to Chimore, where there will be a great ceremony of welcome and gratitude to the people for the triumph of October 18th, according to the former president's colleagues. So yeah, I think that part's really cool because it's just after coming back from being forced into hiding, he's just like hanging out with the indigenous people and like just like showing them that he's here rocking with them.
Well, he's made a big sacrifice too, because obviously he was the ex-president, and now he's made the calculation that because he had a shit ton of terms, and they were trying to make that argument that like he was trying to get rid of term limits and he wanted to stay a long time, probably because people liked him and he was a good president. But
but if you remember,
now they can't use that ammunition on him.
Well, you remember the specifics. It was just that they didn't want him running for another term because there were laws against term limits, but they went to the Constitution and the courts because there were no term limits there.
Yes.
And that's what they said. Okay, yeah, you can run again. We can't. They said we can't deny you based on the Constitution your ability to run again.
Right. So instead, they cooed him.
It's just like the funny thing about term limits. Like at least the United States, it was created by Republicans because
post FDR.
because they realized that they weren't gonna win. They weren't gonna win again if they didn't stop FDR from running. Exactly. And the same thing with electoral college. Same thing with like things like redlining, gerrymandering. It's all these things that the Democratic Party has flopped on letting Republicans get into legislation, and now Republicans are just destroying this country from the inside out. Republican politicians.
We're definitely being sabotaged on the stream tonight, so that's why we need everyone who's not following right now to drop a follow.
Yep.
Go on our Twitter, follow social media, spread the word.
I love the plug.
Do what you can.
YouTube's got all of our
appreciate everything.
VODs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is pretty much like our archive.
Yeah, we keep it nice and clean over there. Not clean as in our language, clean as in our format and description.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah, Carlos does a nice job with all the we got all timestamps and stuff.
Yeah, all the links timestamped. You can click on the little slidey bar and get right to where you want to go.
Yeah. And I noticed YouTube added a feature sometime recently where you can actually like see all the timestamps and as like almost like a kind of like a little like playlist thing of its own. Mm-hmm. So it makes it even more convenient to kind of break down our videos as segments almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm done with that article right there. There's not much more to read. Do we want to move on to the this last piece and then go into our first break?
Yeah, if I could just like a little quip.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like it really fucking shows Evo's character too. Like it makes me admire him more. Is like he's not stuck up in some like political ambition either. Like he's like, dude, I'm willing to step down and just be like some figure for the people rather than like I don't need to be president right now.
Yeah, not to take anything away from Evo, but to just bring that back home. Bernie Sanders, man, he's talked about it. Like he didn't want to be the guy to run. But he realized nobody else is gonna do it because nobody else, at least in the Senate and stuff, nobody else cares about the American people like he does. And he realized that he's the guy.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like he realized he's like he's the only one that's gonna do it. And as much as he's been smeared for being like misogynistic with the whole Elizabeth Warren thing, even though he didn't want to run. He was pressuring Elizabeth Warren to run in 2016.
Yeah.
And
she wouldn't stab him in the back.
And she wouldn't do it, and she fucking stabbed him in the back. And Bernie's the guy. Like he has his flaws, of course. Nobody's the perfect candidate, but
yeah, I don't think anyone likes the degree to which he's like folding to the Democratic Party. But I mean, he cares.
And being such a worker-oriented candidate, we're not gonna get, there's not gonna be another fucking Bernie Sanders, man.
Look, like we didn't like Hillary, and he went fucking hard in the paint for Hillary.
No, he campaigned more towards the end of the election than fucking she did, man.
Yep. I'd say just think about it like this: don't let Bernie be the limit of whatever you think you can do politically.
Yeah.
Just think of him as like the ground floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He always said, man, the fight doesn't start till he's in office. And beyond Bernie Sanders, man, the fight never stops.
Like we should be pushing for policies like way further than anything Bernie's even suggesting, because that's what creates the space for dialogue.
Mm-hmm. We have to normalize our ideas before we can just try to fucking put them into policy, put them on the paper. We have to talk to the people about this shit, which is kind of what we're trying to do with everything.
You pulled a little video?
Yeah, so we have a video from a rally here, a huge fucking rally of indigenous people, celebrating Evo Morales' return to the country of Bolivia.
He's made that whole fucking journey for you.
Yeah.
This is like the end now, where they're gathering up a big rally.
Yeah. And just look at this crowd, man.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I saw a couple higher view just pictures, and they were like, you still can't see the back.
Yeah, there's just. This is what grassroots left looks like a unified left looks like, man. It's just people who understand that they all have a common goal.
Yeah,
it's fucking awesome. So yeah, on that note, we're gonna go ahead and drop into our first break here. We will be back in a couple of minutes. Enjoy the song, go get some water, stretch it out, do what you gotta do, and we will be back.
Oh yeah.
I want to. Yeah. Haven't felt the same in a very long time. Searching for a way to bottle that sunshine. I unwind, step aside from the cold. Sitting by the fire, warming up my bones. I phone home, but I don't get an answer. I wanna apologize, cause I never got the chance to. I wanna be there, but keep chasing dreams. Have to make it happen, cause it can't be unseen. Can't continue on wondering what could have been, or having any regrets thinking it should have been. In the end, I just hope that you understand. I'm trying to be the best son, uncle, brother, and friend. Let's stick it out to the end, and if you don't need me now, I'm sitting right on that bench. But if I'm not creating, I can't exist. This expression of pain and happiness, it brings bliss to the soul when it's damages. It's not pain, that's blood covering the canvases. Abandonment from reality, abandoning the fallacies that we were taught when we were child seeds. Ultraviolet beam scenes, this is all serene, where I'm living in between a dollar and a dream, plotting on a scheme. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Howdy.
We're back. We'll give everybody a second to come back from their bathroom, from their water, whatever they need. Had to put on the hoodie, man. It's fucking freezing here in the Nard.
Yeah, it is cold. It's one of the more it was cold last December, but for fucking being November, this early November, it's pretty cold.
I think I don't remember, dude. I
Global
forget.
cooling.
Global cooling. It's snowing in New York.
Just as like a side note from the video we had before the break, because I know we don't have it in here, but there was a couple of reporters. One of them his name's Ali Vargas, and he's like one of the only fucking English reporters in Bolivia. This is the second time his account it's back now again, but it's the second time his account has been suspended on Twitter. And yeah, it's obviously fucking censorship. So
yeah,
they claimed the first time they made a mistake censoring him, but they fucking suspended his account again right when he was the only like English outlet covering fucking Evo Morales' journey home. So.
This is at the
Jack
same
Dorsey.
Time. Yeah, and this is at the same time when he allows accounts like Nick Fuentes and Matt
That,
Gaetz.
like, racial consciousness account or whatever. Nazi accounts.
Yeah, dude.
Which I don't even think should be banned. Like, I don't. Yeah, but it's like fucking. You're gonna do that, but keep up or take down the, real reporting. It's fucking bullshit.
Evo Morales must have upset a lot of people.
Yeah, that's how you know exactly.
A lot
That's
of people
what makes it sketch too when they do like Yeah. Like when they put those like shit on like Trump's tweets too now. Like different. I think honestly part of that emboldens some like fucking. I mean, they're already in their own echo chamber, but like people on the right to be like, they're fucking censoring Trump. He must be right. He's telling the truth.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's the whole like they're hiding this, so there must be some truth to it. Like, no, this shit's just batshit crazy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, real shame.
Jose, you get access to the Kennedy files.
What did he get it? We stuffed Michael.
Stuffed Michael.
I've stuffed Michael before, but not what you're thinking.
We stuffed Michael on this fucking camping trip.
Yep, we stuffed Michael in a cold room with a window open in San Jose when he was like 17. He's probably older, but I was 38. She was 17.
38.
Yep, I had a great comedy show.
I love you, Seinfeld.
Can we open up the first piece we have here, Carlos?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I believe. Oh no, I don't have it pulled up. The CIA's on.
Why do you want me to pull it up if you don't have it pulled up?
It's true. Al Jazeera here. We've got U.S. seizes missiles and sanctions 11 firms over Iran oil deals. There's some more Iran pieces too, so keep linked. With only 5 days left until the November 3rd U.S. presidential election, it's old. Trump administration is reinforcing its litany of sanctions aimed at isolating Iran, which we've covered, I think, more than once now. Other sanctions too. United States officials revealed on Thursday they had seized Iranian missiles bound for Yemen and sold 1.1 million barrels of previously seized Iranian oil bound for Venezuela. They just stole their fucking oil. The unsealing of the forfeiture complaints by the U.S. Department of Justice came on the same day that the U.S. State and Treasury Departments announced sanctions on a total of 11 firms and individuals for their alleged involvement in the sale and purchase of Iranian petrochemical products. With only 5 days left until November 3rd U.S. presidential election, the administration of President Donald Trump is reinforcing its litany of sanctions aimed at isolating Iran from the global economy, making it tougher for a potential Biden administration to unwind. And yeah, we talked about this earlier, Ian, too. Who was it you said? They were in talks, right, with the
the president of Iran was in talks with the Biden camp.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
They still haven't come out and said that they're going to reinstate the
they haven't said they're going to reinstate the same Iran deal that we're used to.
At day one.
Yeah, but we can only assume they're going to work out just some literally a clone of the deal.
The
Biden presidency is it's going to look like the Obama years. That's it. We're not going to get anything cool. We're just going to get.
Yeah, at best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We'll rewind some of the.
Because let's be honest, there's a few big promises like $15 an hour minimum wage. That's the biggest one he said.
Going back in the Paris Climate Accords,
which
obviously
not enough.
It's the bare minimum, not enough, but it's a step in the right direction.
It's at least it's nothing, but not nothing.
It's better. It's better than nothing. That's all we can say. The $15 minimum wage is huge.
Yeah.
I'll say that'll be the real make or break.
Yeah.
Because he's already against Medicare for all. Fine. I mean, if he wants to be a total healthcare or insurance industry stooge.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I.
Which would be totally in line with Obama. Obama too.
I didn't think for a second we were gonna get fucking Medicare for all or anything like that. I mean, neither did you guys. Nobody.
We didn't do our Joe Biden rant, so maybe we should save it till the end.
Yeah.
Because I think we got a lot of stuff to say.
Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about with Joe Biden. If you want to get back into
it. Yeah, just this little short bit here. The sanctions generally freeze any U.S. assets the firms might have and bar American companies and individuals from doing business with them. Which, in case you didn't know, if you can't do business with the world's #1 superpower, your economy kind of fucking dies. So, and yeah, that's skipping that paragraph. The entities sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department include Iranian firms Moravid Petrochemical Company and Arya Polymer Company. So keep in mind, these companies are sanctioned are just like basically the state-run fucking oil companies. So they're just stealing and sanctioning fucking just the Iranian government.
The nationalized oil.
The nationalized, and then stealing the oil. Yeah, it's nuts. And obviously this is nothing new, but just
obviously, oil's not great, but nationalized oil is like the best case scenario you can get out of oil.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So going after that is basically like the biggest fuck you.
Well, because we know the whole benefit of nationalizing the oil is it helps the average person in the country, so they have some stock in that. So any sanctions to that is just, it's not damaging like some fucking corporation or something in Iran. It's just destroying the general infrastructure of the country.
And you end up killing people, especially with things like illegal sanctions on medicine, which we've talked about before.
That's probably the craziest thing.
It is, and it's a war crime, and we've talked already about how, regardless of if it's a war crime, regardless if it's illegal by international law, the United States is so big and so powerful with its military that who's really going to stop us from doing this? And it's fucked up. I wish we weren't such a military power. I wish people were able to put us in check when we did terrible things.
Absolutely.
And we should definitely be put in check because the United States does do terrible things.
Yeah, just all the humanitarian sanctions, food, medicine.
And I think it's interesting to talk about specifically today, seeing that it is Veterans Day. Just the whole situation with the Middle East is directly a part of our foreign affairs there, and how we invaded countries that didn't attack us for natural resources. We've sent our young men and women all across this country of all colors, genders, all that, to go and die for multinational corporations who pay the ones that pay their employees nothing wages. They don't give them shit, and we continue to bail them out, and as well as give them subsidies and give them like what do you call it? You give them contracts to carry out things in the United States. It's fucked up. And it's just a huge stain on the globe because of it, and it's obviously an effect of capitalism.
So moving, agree with all of that. Moving from that, and we kind of touched there, like maybe there could be a change up with the Biden admin with Iran, but we've already seen tweets from fucking Bibi Netanyahu that he's hyped for a Joe Biden fucking presidency.
Yeah, so who knows? We'll see.
This ties into the next article we have. This other Al Jazeera article we have. U.S. senators push to sell bunker-busting bombs to Israel. Now, this is the Trump administration, but as both Obama, and throughout Joe Biden's career, and as Bibi's tweet, showed, Joe Biden's all down with the Israel apartheid state. So keep in mind, nothing's changing here. So
not just Israel, but the Democratic Party as a whole.
Yes, both parties just serve the fucking apartheid state.
Yeah.
Two bipartisan House legislators will introduce a bill in the U.S. Congress that may allow sale of bunker buster bombs to Israel. Two bipartisan House legislators will introduce a bill in the U.S. Congress this week that would require the U.S. Department of Defense to consider selling Israeli bunker-busting bombs capable of penetrating heavily fortified underground facilities, which is hilarious because obviously Israel's going to fucking use this on Gaza and the West Bank. And their excuse is going to be they're trying to take out like terrorist cell tunnels and shit. But like the reality is they're dropping them on little villages and fucking.
It's like we know this one terrorist has been in this area before, so.
Let's just blast the entire area.
That's the level of information they go off of.
That's what they're doing. Ian's literally right. They're that's like why I think they're getting these bombs specifically is like they want to destroy the natural terrain where people just can't live there.
Exactly. It's not as like about eliminating every single one or going after specific people. It's destroying the land so they're forced to leave. And
Yeah,
then regardless of if Israel could reclaim the land, it's their land now because you've pushed them off.
It's just straight up genocide.
That's how you end up with 90% civilian death rates and like these drone bombings.
And it's interesting that you use the word genocide, and we were kind of just talking about that when we were out in the mountains, man. You're reading that book, the what is it called? The Holocaust.
The Holocaust industry.
Yeah.
Which is edgy name for the title, but it's a good book. Finkelstein. It's kind of just the general thoughts on how the memory of the Nazi Holocaust has been used to justify the Israeli apartheid state.
Yeah, and yeah, it was really interesting to talk about that, I think, and something maybe we can go maybe we can go deeper on that in a different segment or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to keep going with this or move on.
Yeah, just a little here to continue with the insanity. The bill, which is aimed at bolstering Israel's military advantage and providing it with protection from perceived Iranian hostility, comes after Israel and the U.S. signed a series of agreements aimed at guaranteeing Israel's qualified military edge in the region. We must ensure our ally Israel, this is a quote, our ally Israel is equipped and prepared to confront a full range of threats, including the threat of a nuclear-armed Iran, which, yeah, I'm sure top priority of nuclear-armed Iran is just going to drop a nuke on Israel.
And don't forget, the huge supply of rocks in Palestine.
Yeah.
Israel needs a strong army because what if the Palestinians throw rocks?
No, we don't know what kind of rock-based weaponry they're going to develop within the coming years, so we got to stomp them out now.
Somebody in the IDF could get an owie.
Nuclear slingshots, right?
Yeah, nuclear slingshots, man.
And that quote's great, and that's where I want to end it. Because it's from Congressman Josh Gottimer, a Democrat.
Mwah. Gotta love the Democratic Party.
Yep. No. It's always fuck Israel.
Yes.
Welcome to my TED Talk. Carlos, did you send this next article?
Yeah,
Yeah, you get into it, brother.
The once in a blue moon article.
It's a great article too. You were reading some of it to me when we were before the show.
See, here we go. I got the screenshot of it up here because
the
website's a little wonky.
Tell them how you accomplished that. He turned his fucking monitor sideways to take.
I didn't have to turn it sideways.
Oh.
You change it in the settings.
Okay. I thought you literally fucking.
No, well, I can do that too.
Yeah, that's what I figured you did. Yeah.
Well, that's how I got the idea because I've been using my third monitor vertically.
Right.
Yeah, web pages and stuff. Whatever you want to take that as. But here, I'll get into this article. So, this is from Anti-War. Haven't heard of them very much, but I recommend checking them out. I'm sure they got more great stuff like this. They link to a few of their other articles in here, so you can check that out when we get the links up and everything. So, DOJ seizes 27 domains, claims they are controlled by Iran. Oh boy, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this definitely ties into the last story of the U.S. trying to crack down even more on Iran. Due to Iran obviously trying to get around our sanctions, which that's the first thing you do when you get sanctions put on you. You think, how do I get around these? Because obviously they're not good for you. So, anyway. The Department of Justice announced on Wednesday that it seized 27 online domains, claiming the websites were controlled by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as mentioned in the previous article. DOJ sees the domains under the guise of enforcing U.S. sanctions against Iran. Wednesday's announcement followed the seizure of 92 domains. So they've been on a good spree as of late. Just taking down everyone. So if you think about it, we got social media censorship. Then we got the FBI and the DOJ just going after all kinds of websites. So it's almost like you're forcing people into these social media spaces because, like, even if someone gets lucky and finds your website, like, then you got this to worry about.
Right.
So it's like, it really is a case like free speech is just going away.
Yeah.
Or it's very much shrinking in which the places it can be engaged.
Michael, do you have anything to add?
I was gonna do it.
So yeah, before Carlos continues, if nobody else has noticed, we have the static image of Michael because
we don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, he's probably asleep because he's a piece of shit. But
yeah, we went camping, so maybe we didn't really discuss it while we were camping, but I think we just assumed we all knew we were gonna do a show. So
yeah, I mean, we were talking about it yesterday.
I thought
thought
we had kind of confirmed because we didn't do a normal show last week that we do one this week, but yeah, I guess because you guys went camping, I don't know.
I mean, I was ready to do a show last week too. I'm always ready to talk to people, man.
All right.
Yeah, Carlos, go ahead and jump back into this.
I'll kind of just skip down a little bit. Quote here. Here, the 4 domains purported to be independent news outlets, but they were actually operated by or on behalf of the IRGC to target the U.S. and pro-Iranian propaganda. Or to target the U.S. with pro-Iranian propaganda. In an attempt to covertly influence the American people to change U.S. policy concerning Iran in the Middle East. So, well, I think our show is done for.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we've been doing. I hate to break it, guys, but I think they finally uncovered we're a pro-Iran plot.
You'll soon be seeing us in the VC in the Ventura County Star with sedition charges.
Yeah.
We will be arrested. It's okay.
They'll claim Ian speaks Farsi. Carlos wears a hijab.
They're gonna find my Iranian flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not making it. I'm not making it out the hood, boys.
So that's a direct quote from the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
So it's not just that these are people we have a disagreement with. They're just straight up spreading propaganda, and we can't even allow them to exist.
Right.
It's our propaganda only.
And it's not. So think about it. These are international websites, basically, as it'll say here. So one of the news sites, the American Herald Tribune, or AHT, as it'll be referred to, a website whose editor-in-chief, Anthony Hall, was based in Canada. It's not clear how the U.S. government decided that AHT or the other websites are affiliated with Iran. Investigative journalist Gareth Porter wrote about a social media censorship that AHT faced. Porter's report says the FBI encouraged Facebook, Instagram, and Google to remove or restrict ads on AHT. In 2018, AHT's Facebook page was deleted, and the outlet's account on Facebook, Run, Instagram was also removed. So clearly everyone I'm sure knows, they've got some kind of a list, and once you're on it, it's only a matter of time, and it's a matter of opportunity.
Like criteria, at least, like you check enough boxes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, in a way, you think it's like revolution. It's like every step you take is like setting the scene, and then it's not until a spark breaks out then it's like they do something.
Yeah.
But the spark doesn't even have to be like hardly anything.
Right.
Like taking down someone's account because they cover something you don't like, or on MSNBC, You're about to announce someone's presidential campaign and the higher ups don't like it.
Right. Yeah.
Just simple everyday things that happen all the time and you never hear about them. So it just proves the ever more need for media to become less centralized.
Right. Yeah, and I think between our articles and the point we made on, the censorship of like guys like Ollie Vargas too, that's kind of our central thesis, I guess, here.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do have to be centralized, or rather.
Yeah, just more independent media.
So, see, in January this year, CNN published a story that claimed AHT was founded in Iran. CNN quoted an unnamed official from the cybersecurity firm FireEye. You may have heard of him. According to Porter, FireEye boasts that it has contracts with, quote, nearly every department in the United States government.
Gotta trust them.
Carlos and I interpreted that as they're literally just a wing of the government.
Yeah.
What you say is they're a private government institute?
Yeah.
So officially no connection, but joined at the hip.
Yeah, which we were talking about this too, like in that fucking Snowden's like memoir, and I'm sure you could read elsewhere.
There are many whistleblowers out there, and remember, they won't be talked about, so you gotta find them.
Yeah, seriously.
You will hear about the big ones like Snowden. There are also other ones like Kiriakou, former CIA agent. He has a lot of good knowledge. Bill Binney. Yep.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
There's a lot of names out there, a lot of people who have been in these big industries, and a lot of them, as I think a lot of people can tell, kind of go along with the whole thing and just keep it running. But there are good people out there who occasionally go through and see what's wrong and try to tell about it, and usually end up getting punished in some way or form.
Oh yeah. To me,
and that's how you know they're serious.
The most disgusting one, other than Snowden, and Assange too, they're all really bad, but Bradley Manning's just being like imprisoned back to back was pretty disgusting.
Yep.
Yeah. The Chelsea Manning story, or you didn't say Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, well, Bradley Manning at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And then fucking just all the stuff they did restricting her sexual like orientation change stuff too, and
The torture.
abuse, the torture, yeah.
I don't know. For anybody who was watching or keeps up with what Chelsea does now, she's fucking awesome.
She is awesome.
She streams on Twitch all the time. She's building some badass fucking computer. Like she's come so far, and to think that she survived all that torture, it's super cool to see. And
she still posts her fucking like going out to protest.
Yeah,
what a baller.
Yeah, that didn't like the torture. Like torture didn't. If torture doesn't stop you, man. Yeah, torture doesn't stop you, man. Nothing can. I think
definitely an inspiration.
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. I love Chelsea, man.
Just a lot of courage. So
this next part here is hilarious, by the way.
The official told CNN that FireEye had, quote unquote, assessed with, quote, moderate confidence, end quote, that the AHT's website was founded in Iran and was, quote, part of a larger influence operation. The term moderate confidence comes from U.S. intelligence agencies and, as we all know, means there is plenty of room for doubt or no evidence.
We have to bomb this wedding. They're terrorists.
Well, as Carlos pointed out, too, if there's not fucking pictures, they don't fucking have the evidence.
If they're claiming things and they're not showing you evidence, then
they don't have
doubt
shit.
it.
Especially these fucking the CIA, FBI, etc. They're masters of bullshit.
Yep.
I mean, just that there. Moderate confidence is not just some word that FireEye fucking made up. It is a word made and designed and used by the fucking U.S. intelligence
Yeah,
agencies.
it is a piece of language with a specific meaning to the U.S. intelligence.
And just shows that FireEye, is literally just
Yeah,
joined
like
at
you're
the hip.
saying, yeah, conjoined at the hip. Just
I'll end it out here. AHT published authors with dissenting views who often criticized U.S. foreign policy towards Iran. Because, as we've talked about here before on the show, a lot of our sanctions on Iran hurt mostly the people.
Yeah.
And that's the main problem. Is like, forget whatever you think of the government. Like, if we're just making the people suffer, there's no real justification for it.
Yeah.
Or as Pompeo, it's unfortunate that, I guess in some way it's good because the mask is just being ripped off. But yeah, even Pompeo's admitted that we're doing these sanctions on Iran because we want the people to suffer and we want them to overthrow their government. Yeah. Which,
Pompeo's
so I mean, just know what it is. That they're admitting it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of what allows us to do our show too. Like, if it's just time to be mask off, I mean, like, forget it. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. Demonstrate.
So if the DOJ uses shaky assessments like the one from FireEye to take these sites down, it sets a dangerous precedent for independent media outlets. Which, yeah, so if they're allowed to just go to anyone who they believe is spreading pro-Iranian propaganda to covertly influence the American people to change United States policy concerning Iran and the Middle East, then, well, you're on the list.
We're on the list.
Yep.
Hopefully. I'm down with being on the list.
That's why we got to make this popular opinion.
Yeah.
That's the only way it can really spread. So that's the whole article there. But it was definitely an interesting piece.
Can you give a shout out to the site again? Since we have it
anti-war.
Anti-war.
It'll definitely be linked in the description. Yeah. Darn, I closed it already. So.
But yeah, check them out.
Yeah.
What do we have next here, boys?
We have our boy Glenn.
Yeah, our last one for our break, and then we don't got much, so stay with us. It's good stuff too. Yeah, Glenn G. This is a little old, but as we know, Glenn Greenwald was one of the fucking founders of the Intercept. We did some previous history on him. You know, his big thing, one of his first big things was helping leak some of the Snowden shit via the Guardian. Then the Guardian became pretty shit. He left, started the Intercept, and as the Intercept became more corporate and just more beholden to corporate interests and thus less critical of the Democrats as well as just corporate power in general.
Yeah, less honest about power.
Yeah, just less honest about power. Because they still have some good stuff, and we've even covered some of their stuff. That's why I wanted to cover this, because I think it's important we also be, frank about fucking these media companies. But yeah, hear from his tweet. And we don't have to open the whole Substack article. But, my resignation from the Intercept. The same trends of repression, censorship, and ideological homogeneity plaguing the national press generally have engulfed the media outlet I co-founded, culminating in censorship of my own articles. And basically, just a synopsis. What it reads is, there's really two main reasons, and I think the one that they're less of the people, because there's been controversy created about this, and people are like, well, he wasn't getting censored. There's just editors, and the editors didn't like his information, and that's what they're saying about. Because the first one he brings up is he tried to write a story about, Hunter Biden's legitimate corruptions with the company Burisma in Ukraine, and
which most people have been talking about for years now.
Yes,
and this isn't new.
No, not at all.
Like,
and there's
I want to try to find it for next episode, so I'll mention it now. But I remember seeing there was some article. I think it was something along the lines of like the Biden crime family. If any of you guys remember it, it's like from like 2015 or like 2016. I swear, if it wasn't Biden, I can't even think of who it would be. But it pretty much shows how like at every level of his family, I'm pretty sure it's Biden. They've all benefited off his like public life and his status in the government.
Right.
In all these different ways,
Bing,
and it's
bing, bong,
crazy.
bong, bing, bing, bing.
So yeah, I definitely want to try to find that one for next episode.
Yeah. Well, even the son, they fucking.
And this was before Trump was elected too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So forget partisan hackery.
Yeah.
Considering this is all left criticism as well. You know,
Right.
This is like actual corporate corruption, which the Republican Party doesn't seem to think is actually corruption. Just ask them. If they think money is speech, then they have no problem with corporations giving them unlimited amounts of money. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
didn't mean to kind of derail it.
That was
We're reaching the end, so we're building up to it,
We can
to
hit
the grand
break,
finale.
if we want to, since we do have a decent amount still left.
So yeah, want to go? Let's go into this last break. And we'll be back.
Damn. Alright. I was supposed to. Alright, okay. Yo, so check it, dog. Rubbing on my eyeball. You know my eyes saw everything you not, Lord. But check it, coming from the top. Cream of the crop, and I'm never gonna stop. But yo, check it, dog. Rolling in my whip. Getting all the chips, and I'm getting benefits. And you see this, dog. You see me shining, and you see me run, you see me grinding, and I stay on top, I stay on fleek. Motherfuckers on the street wanna copy me, but that's alright. I do it every night, doing something different motherfuckers supposed to like, but I don't even know, dog, this shit crazy. Feeling mad lazy, like Corona babies, dog. They ain't no shit, staying in the house and they ain't focused, but it's lit. Like who this though? Hit you with my fist, bro. Talking about has, bro. You in the past, bro. Looking like you ain't got no cash flow. That's whack, though. Yeah. Need to hit the commercial break, bro. I need a break for sure.
Hey, I'll just come talk to you guys while we wait for Jacan to come back. Hope everybody's having a good one. It's rough times here with everything that's happening with COVID. Oh, cool. You're back just as I started to talk.
Would we play a 2-second song or?
I chose a short song. Yeah, it was an accident.
No, that's my bad. I had a pee too, so.
It's cool. So just as I was talking about right before Jacan got back, COVID's getting pretty crazy. It's pretty spooky. But as long as everybody who's watching keeps doing, what they can do, wearing your mask and social distancing when you can, making sure you're washing your hands, sanitizing.
Furiously masturbating.
Yeah, furiously masturbating, doing what you're doing to prevent the spread. Yeah, dude, we gotta do what we do here. California's doing okay. Could be doing a lot better.
Yeah,
Could be
I
doing a
heard
lot.
something like it's not our worst day, but yesterday was our worst day since August, so not so great.
Yeah. I mean, the whole country's seeing a surge, which ties into what we were about to talk about with this CNN article. So as it reads from the top, the U.S. just set a staggering new COVID-19 daily case record with more than 120,000 infections. Getting into it here at the top, this is from CNN. The U.S. set a grim new COVID record Thursday, following a week marked by high case numbers, surpassing 120,000 infections in a single day. And it was the second day in a row the country reported more than 100,000 infections. That's daily infections. Health experts health experts had warned weeks ago that the nation's daily cases would reach 6 digits, but those alarming figures hit sooner than expected. And COVID death toll could reach 266,000 by the end of November. According to the ensemble forecast published Thursday by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Thursday saw at least 121,054 new cases nationwide, according to Johns Hopkins University. There are at least 1,187 reported deaths and a near 20% increase from the same day last week. As the U.S. continues to shatter daily case records, so too do states across the nation. Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Utah, and Wisconsin are among these states that set new daily records for infections on Thursday. In just 10 months, more than 9.6 million people in the U.S. have been infected with coronavirus. More than 234,000 have died. Hospitalizations are also surging nationwide, with more than 53,000 people hospitalized with coronavirus on Thursday. Before I continue on, I was at work in the break room, and I believe it's like North Dakota or something has like literally zero hospital beds like open, and then like Oklahoma has like 12 in the whole state. Like yeah, we are not prepared at all. So yeah, but yeah, think about that though. Entire state of Oklahoma, and you have 12 hospital beds, and in like a place like I think it's North Dakota or North Carolina. It's a North something. Literally
Yeah, I
zero.
remember I think North and South Dakota it was getting pretty bad.
Yeah, not a singular open hospital bed in the entire
Pretty
state.
interesting where these. I mean, obviously we've covered in the past like how red states, that whole debunking of blue states doing worse than red states with COVID.
Yeah, we've talked about that a couple times.
Yeah, it's weird. These states that are surging right now, though, are an interesting combo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously we're surging as a whole, though. So.
No, yeah, everywhere's.
Yeah,
Crazy
all around
everywhere.
what you could call the Western world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting back, starting at the top, states break new daily records. Ohio on Thursday saw a record number of new coronavirus infections, but it also reported its highest number of hospitalizations and people in intensive care. The state reported 4,961 new COVID-19 cases, with 2,075 people hospitalized and 571 in the ICU. Every county in the state is seeing significant community spread, said Governor Mike DeWine, who attributed the rising cases to weddings, funerals, and other social gatherings. It is everywhere, he said. We can't hide from it. We can't run from it. We got to face it. Stopping myself again, I saw some interesting numbers. I forget where. I think it was on Twitter, but places like bars, salons, etc., make up about 10% of like business locations, but make up for about 80% of all COVID-19 cases.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's just further proof that we need to shut those shits down, and we need to properly compensate them while they're shut down.
Yeah.
We can't have these safe openings, obviously.
Bars gotta be the craziest one. How do you leave bars open?
Yeah.
I made this point when we were talking earlier, but like you can't, or I might not have. I made it to someone that we
yourself.
Yeah, I talk to myself pretty often. You gotta bounce off your ideas with someone like half competent.
Shit, huh? That'd be true for me if I was half competent.
Yeah. So like we handled this pandemic in like almost the worst way, because we tried to do the shutdowns, which obviously like didn't work.
Right.
And then on top of that, we couldn't even like deal with the pandemic itself. Like we just mentioned, like we're totally overwhelmed with our healthcare infrastructure.
Right.
And so we didn't do anything there either. And so we got the And we also didn't do anything to compensate all the businesses that were hurt by the shutdown to try to stop the virus that didn't work. Which, it's like a half-assed shutdown, basically. So, like, even though you shut down, it's like you're not really stopping the problem.
Right.
Yeah, and when we shut down, we try to reopen, and we didn't do any proper reopening procedures, and we continue to see surges. And right now, we're literally at the worst of it.
Yeah.
Where it's 6-digit daily fucking cases, man. It's crazy.
Like, really, at this point, it like we've said before, it establishes the need to have a universal healthcare system where you don't worry about how you're going to pay for it. Like,
Right.
you worry about how do we solve the healthcare crisis.
And we also need complete revitalization of our entire infrastructure through a fucking huge jobs program. I'll finish off this section of the article, and then we can move on, because we've kind of touched on parts of the rest. So getting back at Utah hit a daily record with 2,807 new coronavirus cases, with a rolling 7-day average of 1,943 cases. That's up from last week, when the 7-day average was 1,578, according to the state epidemiologist Angela Dunn. Governor Gary Herbert said the report was grim news and it's discouraging. He warned that the state would see even higher numbers in the coming weeks unless residents changed their behavior. But he added that he didn't want to close businesses to curb the spread. So he is directly part of the problem. Him not wanting to shut these businesses down is going to continue to see a rise in cases. And like I just said, I believe it's places like bars and like salons, leisurely locations are about 10% of businesses, but they make up for about 80% of coronavirus cases. So if you want to curb the spread, you have to shut these places down, and as well, you have to compensate these people while their businesses are shut down, as well as compensate the general population. But I mean, this is
straight up putting money in people's hands too.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. It's like the basic deal. The government says, all right, you need to shut down, but I'm gonna make it worth it for you to want to shut down.
Cash.
Exactly.
Because that's the problem. If you just make everyone shut down and say, well, you're shit out of luck, then people are gonna obviously resist the shutdown.
Mhm.
And that's the problem we have now, is there are so many people resisting the shutdown.
I think that's a great point too. Like, that's why we were in the worst possible. We handled it the worst way. We let a bunch of businesses shut down by forcing them to shut down, and then brought it back without giving them proper stimulus, etc. And then brought it back. Cases resurge, and then we might have another fucking.
It's like we're sending them on we're sending the small businesses on a quick, like, capitalist boom bust cycle.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But bailing out all the big corps in the pandemic.
Yeah, so the big corporations will be fine no matter what. It's guaranteed. The financial industries are guaranteed to continue through federal stimulus spending. But small businesses are pretty much, they're made to, like, suffer at the whims of the powers that be.
Yeah. They're just everything that. Yeah, tornado comes, doesn't matter. You're
It's
good.
like, because the people don't have any, like, real money or power to, like, help these businesses survive.
And what you guys were just saying with there's no incentive. Like, yeah, people literally can't just stay home.
Or
'cause
literally,
they have to go work.
Lose your business.
Or because of the shutdown, there's
Or
just
lose
no
your house.
demand.
Yeah, or your
Exactly.
house. Or
Which
Exactly.
proves why you'd need to compensate to keep the infrastructure there for when a reopening does happen. Because if you let all these things go out of business, then it's like when we finally do a real reopening, then it's like shit's just gone, and it's just fucking corporateville.
Yeah, you have to tell these people, stay home. Here's money. Stay home. Here's money. Stay home.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just, hey, I know you want to go out, but people are gonna die if you go out. So take this money and stay at home.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, not only that, but like like the healthcare infrastructure
Yeah.
too, which is like the biggest part of dealing
Yes.
with the pandemic.
Yeah,
Which that's just not even there at all.
as well as universal Nintendo Switches.
Yeah, yeah.
Making sure that
We should name the next episode Corporate Bill. I think Carlos nailed it.
I like that.
Or something. Something has to be named.
Hey, don't spoil it.
It's too good. No one's watching. It's just I'm watching with 4 accounts right now.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next article here from the New York Times.
Yeah, you're right. Having CNN open too long is kind of making me sick.
My So we're gonna go from CNN to Jeff Bezos news. We're gonna watch some. We're gonna read some news from my boss here.
Bezos owns the New York Times.
Isn't it? Isn't it like? Doesn't he own New York
No,
Times?
he owns the isn't it like the Washington Post?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Washington Post. My bad.
It's only a matter of time now. I mean,
Yeah.
before Bezos owns all the news
It's not
networks.
a handful of fucking billionaires though, so who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, getting into the top of it, it's still related to COVID. As U.S. breaks hospitalization records, New York and other states add restrictions. Starting Friday, New York will limit private gatherings to 10 people and require bars and restaurants to close nightly at 10 p.m. School officials in Philadelphia, San Diego, and Minneapolis, and several other large cities hit pause on their reopening plans because of surging coronavirus cases. Scrolling down past a little picture. With coronavirus cases surging in New York and across the country, Governor Andrew Cuomo said on Wednesday that private indoor and outdoor gatherings statewide will be limited to 10 people and that gyms, bars, and restaurants must close daily at 10 p.m. The restrictions will take effect Friday, and Mr. Cuomo said that local governments will be responsible for enforcing them. The limit on gatherings will apply to private homes. The curfew will apply only to bars and restaurants licensed by the state liquor authority, and restaurants can continue to provide takeout or delivery after 10 p.m., but only for food. Mr. Cuomo said that officials were moved to announce the new restrictions as they confronted an increase in cases. Bars, restaurants, gyms, house parties, Mr. Cuomo said on a conference call with reporters. That's where it's coming from primarily. After months when the New York City area had seemed to keep the pandemic relatively contained, the virus has again increased sharply in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, the region that was once the center of the U.S. outbreak. Though cases and hospitalizations are significantly lower than they were at the spring peak, officials in all 3 states have acknowledged that they are considering additional restrictions that would roll back the slow, cautious reopening processes, particularly as cooling weather drives people indoors where the virus more easily spreads. In a marked difference from the spring, the wave in the metropolitan area coincides with the surge nationwide. The United States has been shattering daily records for new cases, pushing 7-day averages to more than 123,000 per day. As of Tuesday, according to the New York Times database, for the first time, new cases surpassed 140,000 on Wednesday, and 65,368 people were hospitalized across the country with COVID-19 on Wednesday, according to the COVID tracking project, the largest number at any point during the pandemic. And New York is a ship on the COVID tide, Mr. Cuomo said on Wednesday on a conference call with reporters. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said on Twitter that the citywide 7-day average rate for positive test results was at 2.52%, a rate last seen in early June when the city had just only begun reopening non-essential businesses after a devastating spring that saw thousands die. This is our last chance to stop the second wave, Mr. Blasio wrote on Twitter. We can do it, but we have to act now. Stopping really quick. As fucking stupid as like people like Cuomo and de Blasio are, a big issue with all states, but I guess primarily blue states because of President Donald Trump is lack of federal funding and federal relief from the Fed, like getting money pumped into the states so they can do what they need to do. And yeah, that's just that's a huge part that we can relate directly to the Trump administration and his kind of his war on blue states.
On top of just their general incompetence.
Exactly.
Yeah, as you touched on.
Um, cases have been cases have since been rising across all 5 boroughs, including Staten Island, which has long bristled at virus-related limits. Over the past week, New York City has seen an average of 1,142 cases a day, a jump of 77% from just 2 weeks earlier. Mr. Cuomo said on Wednesday that parts of Staten Island would be designated a yellow zone in his color-coded tier system of restrictions, which require more testing in schools. The city has also designed parts of Port Chester, a suburban community of about 29,000 in Westchester County, on the border with Connecticut, as an orange zone, which closes schools for at least 4 days, limits capacity at religious institutions, bans indoor dining, and closes high-risk businesses like gyms and hair salons. In New York State, the 7-day average rate of positive test results was 2.43% on Wednesday, the highest figure that has been since late May, when the state was doing less testing than it is now. The state also reported 1,620 hospitalizations, its highest total since mid-June, though far short of the peak in April of more than 18,000. Stopping there, I guess, is a good spot. The continued incompetence of both parties, and as well as the Trump administration, to provide any sort of basic relief to American citizens all across the country is disgusting, and it's the elites are watching us die, and they're doing absolutely nothing about it, and they're going to continue to until they realize it's hurting their profits.
Yeah.
I feel I was talking to my friend Jose. I think he was asking me if we were getting another stimulus check, not a while ago, with Biden. And at first I was like, oh, probably, but realistically, I'm not sure.
Especially now with the Senate locked up, who knows?
Yeah.
Who cares? It'll probably be $20. So
yeah, we'll get $20 and nothing.
And to your point too, like look in here, no mention. I mean, good that they're shutting down shit, and it's because of their incompetence, but no mention of any kind of fucking stimmy in here. There's no money for people, the businesses are shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
So, rip.
Do
you want to go to the next?
We can move on.
Cool. I think we were shitting on the Guardian earlier, but we'll read some. They still do good stuff too, just because they're not fucking U.S. That always helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Although England they're getting to be, after, we haven't touched on it, but just a side note, like fucking Jeremy Corbyn getting removed from the Labour Party, fucking disgusting.
We should probably do something on that next episode. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure more will develop too. Like, yeah, but that's fucking bullshit. Here's the article. We covered an old story on this, if you remember, in the out in the tundra in Russia. There's fucking in Siberia, there was big methane pockets popping up in the wilderness out there, and releasing methane into the air. Here it is: Arctic methane deposits starting to release, scientists say. Scientists say they have found evidence that frozen methane deposits in the Arctic Ocean have started to be released over a large area of the continental slope off the East Siberian coast, The Guardian can reveal. High levels of potent greenhouse gas have been detected down to a depth of 350 meters in the Laptev Sea near Russia, prompting concern among researchers that the discovery could have, quote, serious climate consequences. The slope sediments in the Arctic contain a huge quantity of frozen methane and other gases, known as hydrates. Methane, as we know, has a warming effect 80 times stronger than carbon dioxide over 20 years. The United States Geological Survey has previously listed Arctic hydrate destabilization as one of 4 most serious scenarios for abrupt climate change, which I have read that thing, and I don't remember all of them. But I know we have also checked the other 3, by the way, so pretty cool. The international team on board the Russian research ship RV Academic Keldysh said most of the bubbles were currently dissolving in the water, but methane levels at the surface were 4 to 8 times what would normally be expected, and this was venting into the atmosphere. At this moment, this is a quote, there is unlikely to be any major impact on global warming. But the point is that this process has now been triggered. This East Siberian slope methane hydrate system has been perturbed, and the process will be ongoing, said the Swedish scientist Örjan Gustafsson of Stockholm University, who's on the boat. The scientists, who are part of a multi-year international shelf study expedition, stressed their findings were preliminary. The scale of methane releases will not be confirmed until they return, analyze the data, and have their studies published in a peer-reviewed journal. But the discovery of potentially destabilized slope frozen methane raises concerns about the potential impact on the speed of global heating. Global cooling.
Global cooling.
The Arctic is considered ground zero in the debate about the vulnerability of frozen methane deposits, which have been called the, quote, sleeping giants of the carbon cycle. In the ocean, and if releases were to exceed a tipping point, it could increase the speed of global heating. With the Arctic temperature now rising more than twice as fast as global average, the question of when, or even whether, they will be released into the atmosphere has been a matter of considerable uncertainty in climate computer models. But this is part of Guardian's, reasonable doubt part. Like, that article we read about the methane deposits popping up in fucking Siberia, like, it's pretty obvious it's happening in the oceans now. I'm sure their findings are going to be,
We'll see. We've been digging up the minerals, digging up the coal, the oil, natural gas. It's only a matter of time before we found the methane.
And it's not gonna stop anybody because all they care about this shit. They only care about short-term profit.
Maybe we should have left that stuff down there.
No, that's ridiculous, man. We need our clean coal.
Can we skip down to the third paragraph from the bottom? That's for the second year in a row.
How far down is it?
It's the third from the bottom, or second, I think. Actually, yeah, second.
Here?
Or... no, that's the. Come on, Carlos.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, you're good. For the second year in a row, his team have found crater-like pockmarks in the shallower parts of the Laptev Sea and East Siberian Sea that are discharging bubble jets of methane, which is reaching the sea surface at levels tens to hundreds of times higher than normal. This is similar to the craters and sinkholes reported from inland Siberia tundra early this autumn. Temperatures in Siberia were 5 degrees Celsius higher than average from January to June this year, an anomaly that was made at least 600 times more likely by human-caused emissions of carbon dioxide and methane. Last winter's sea ice melted unusually early. This winter's freeze has yet to begin, already a later start than at any time on record.
Fuck.
Yeah. So.
Going back to what you said really quick, East Siberian Sea that are discharging bubble jets of methane. I guess we just found out the Earth is a squirter.
Earth is confirmed not a creamer.
Yeah, no creaming on Earth.
No.
Or maybe we just haven't found it yet.
Earth cream.
It's only a matter of time.
That's the obviously that's the giant like oil wells in the XL pipeline. That's the cream. These last couple articles we have are like tough transitions. So, and a lot of this has just kind of been older stuff, and that's good. I like this one.
Yeah, it's just it's part of the process of how we do the episodes. We kind of just accumulate the stuff we share.
Yeah.
And then we go through it and decide what we do.
And this will kind of be remedied. I don't know, for those who follow us on Twitter and Instagram, we ran some polls, and we decided to add a Sunday show to our our like itinerary. So that will obviously remedy this excess of articles we have, and we'll be able to flow the news, I think, a little bit easier.
That'll get us our last check for our affiliate too.
Yeah.
$7 a month.
Yeah, we need to do a few more streams. Maybe we'll try to squeeze in some specials within
Yeah, we've
the next few months.
We've
or
hit
this
every
month sometime.
We've hit every check mark except for we need 7 streams in a 30-day period. So we're gonna be probably pumping out some streams, and once we hit affiliate, we're probably gonna do like a special or something to thank everybody. Also, I just noticed we got 2 followers this stream so far. Shout out to Lucid Honey and Joe Laverite, Lavishire. Sorry if I fucked up your name.
No.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau. Thank
I'm
you.
assuming it's French Canadian, so don't tell him thank you. I'm kidding.
Fucking Quebecois. No, but yeah, thank you for the follow. We really appreciate it.
We hope you enjoyed the butchering of your name.
Yeah. Hope that strokes your ego, buddy.
Let's move to the next one, Carlos. Jamie, can you pull that up? No.
Jamie.
This is a Tribune piece here. And kind of back to that point too, though. Like, it's good we kind of have like this throwaway episode because a lot of this stuff we just kind of let, if it lets pass, sometimes we don't cover it, so it's good to always cover it.
Hey, Tribune, nice.
Yeah. So here from the article, Poland's historic fight for abortion rights. This week, Poland banned abortion after its government stacked the courts with right-wing ideologues. Sounds familiar, but they didn't count on women fighting back, and now face a historic wave of protests. Poland is on fire during a historic recession amid the worst pandemic since World War I. The Constitutional Court decided that abortion is unconstitutional in case of lethal fetal abnormalities. This decision unleashed a wave of furious women's protests without precedent in democratic Poland. Increasingly undemocratic Poland. The Polish abortion regulation bill from 1993 stated that abortion was legal in 3 cases. When pregnancy is a result of rape, when the life of the mother is at risk, or there's a case of lethal fetal abnormalities. In the last decade, an estimated 95 to 97% of legal abortions in Poland were carried out due to the latter condition, that being lethal fetal abnormalities. Meaning that the recent verdict is an effective ban on abortion, with only the 3% of cases remaining legal. And yeah, what a piece of shit government to be like, well, the only time it's okay is if you're fucking straight up raped. And even then, I'm sure there's litigation that makes it difficult.
Yeah, and then the sad part about Poland is Poland has just been so fucked by like nationalist parties and far right parties.
Yes,
it's gonna be a very long fight for any sort of Polish left, and we have to stand in international solidarity with them.
Isn't it funny that you need to make sure we know the exact reason too? It's not just like, okay, you're the mother, like we assume you've made the decision yourself, you've come to the conclusion, like whatever your logic is.
Yeah, it has to be for
these 3 reasons
you have to come to us and tell us one of these 3 like terrible reasons.
Yeah. Well, and it just gives them, as it's shown here, it gives them leeway to just make effective bans.
Yeah.
So it shows the worthlessness of the left that created that bill probably from 1993. Back in the article, Law and Justice is responsible for the current makeup of the Constitutional Court. Law and Justice, yeah. Part of the legal establishment believes that the court has been politicized to the point that its decisions are not legally binding. The debate between the lawyers is one thing, but something much bigger is happening. Women are organizing politically in the biggest mobilization in the country's history. The government had already tried to pass an anti-abortion bill written by a far-right legal think tank, Ordo Luris, lame name, once before, but had to abandon their plans up to an unrelenting wave of, is a weird quote, black protests. I'm sure there's not a lot of black people in Poland, no. Of an estimated 160,000 protesters back in 2016. So far, women's protests have been the only fully effective social mobilization against the law and justice government. The only ones to force the government to take a step back.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Also, it's kind of funny that guy's name sounds like Ouroboros. Just
He's a snake eating himself.
yeah, just eating yourself and destroying your country. It's
Dude,
kinda-
Ouroboros is cool though. That's the difference.
Okay, edgelord.
Hey, it is. I would get an Ouroboros tattoo on around my eyeball though.
I'd get it on my
Both
taint.
eyeballs on the taint. Oh my god, my jeez. It's just eating your dick, yeah.
Well, your tattoo eating your ass.
Yeah, Jesus.
God damn.
Yeah, go ahead, get back into it.
Yeah, and I think this next part's just for a thought here. Like this next part's important because it's something that we can use, in our own country. If the mobilization in 2016 was big, 2020 is a force of nature. Picketing, chanting, spontaneous walks in over 80 towns and cities, several marches of over 50,000 people. The current protests take place after the decision has already been made, when we know for a fact that roughly 1,000 women each year will be forced to carry to term fetuses with severe abnormalities. In the streets, one can hear the resounding anger, helplessness, naked fury. The biggest pro-choice organization, the nation's women's strike, OSK, named their campaign "This is War." The protests developed immediately after the announcement of the ruling on Thursday night. As thousands of people gathered by the Warsaw residence of Yaroslaw Kaczyński, the leader of Law and Justice, tens if not hundreds of police vans arrived at the scene. In the early morning hours, the protesters were hit with tear gas by the police. And yeah, even though that ends on a dark note, obviously, and we're familiar with that situation.
Yeah.
Look how it's, they haven't really had, like, other than 2016, there was some mobilization, but, now that the whole political landscape's changed too. The nation's women's strike, it goes on later in the article to kind of touch on it. It's like, it really just rose and formed just because of this, this ban, and they might be more of a radical group than they've has been in the forefront before. I mean, their quote is literally "This is war." Like,
yeah,
they're actually confronting the fact that there's just war on their fucking their individual rights.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, to bring that back home, I think that's how we have to operate here with talking about things like Black Lives Matter. We have to be militant and upfront about what we're fighting for, and this is a war. We're fighting against the tyranny of the government for our basic human rights.
Remember,
And,
I think the best way to frame abortion is the government is forcing you to have children.
Yeah, exactly.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Big bad tyrannical government.
I think specifically talking about abortion, but this can be a take for a lot of things. I think I guess obviously not the best take, but because the ultimate take obviously is support. But I think the best take that we should have is I may not support abortion. I do, but let's say I don't. That shouldn't stop me from you getting one. Like, me not liking it shouldn't.
Yes.
Me not liking it shouldn't stop you from doing it.
Yeah, because once you realize the reality is people are going to do abortions no matter what, and it's whether or not you want to make safe conditions for it or not.
Exactly.
And it's the same with drugs. It's like, do you want it to be safe or not?
Yeah, exactly. Drugs is a good pairing with that. Is you may not like drugs. I guess I'll say I don't like
do heroin.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do meth. I don't want to do meth. I might do heroin, but I don't want to do meth. But that shouldn't stop me. That shouldn't stop you from getting clean, safe, well-dosed meth from the government.
People will still smoke meth.
Exactly. People are still going to smoke meth, but we should allow them to smoke clean meth, properly dose their meth, and at least use the money that they're spending, you tax it, so that money can circulate back into the economy.
Or maybe not even meth at all. If we do more openness about drugs, we get these people on maybe something else. that
Yeah.
does something
Right.
similar and doesn't
Yeah,
fuck you up like meth.
Exactly. But yeah.
But it's
like,
just for example's sake.
Yeah. But yeah.
Obviously, they're not completely analogous too, because I think in abortion's case, it's even more like it's gonna happen.
No. Yeah. No. It's you
Like,
can't. It's not a perfect analogy, but
it's a fact of life. So
it's a life-changing medical procedure.
yeah,
Simple, just plain,
people
just
have done
point.
since the dawn of time.
Exactly.
So,
It is a life-changing medical procedure, and no amount of legislation should be able to stop a life-changing medical procedure.
yeah.
Like, what if there was legislation that stops certain types of surgeries on the brain? What if you have brain cancer and you can't get fucking surgery on your brain because of legislation? Isn't that fucking stupid?
Yeah, if
So why
anything,
should
that'd be more analogous than the drugs almost. It's just ridiculous.
We don't want people tampering with the brain.
it's just it's legislation.
And
Going against God's will.
It's just another aspect of our classist system.
Yes.
God's will that I have determined is definitely his will.
Imagine you going for brain surgery and Ben Carson is your doctor. Just fucking no.
So Oreo okay, I'm a
You gotta whisper.
my bad.
The Oreo.
I got a Oreo here, and I'm gonna cut your head open and do some surgery.
Do you remember the story he told where he the story he told where he turned to Jesus, where he claimed he tried to stab somebody and his belt buckle blocked the knife stab. That's when he realized that Jesus was Lord. What a legend.
That's all it takes is some good luck.
Yeah.
Ben Carson's a huge meme. So funny that he tried to run for president.
Yeah. That he's or has been anything in his life. It's funny. Bernie would have won.
Okay. Yeah, hard transitions here with this last article.
Yeah, this is a nice one. It's got we like graphs. Graphs are fun. Usually Carlos is the graph guy. I'm gonna be graph guy today.
Numbers, baby.
I'll let you take over. You
Huge.
have permission.
I'm not posting Richard Wolf videos though. I promise. This is from Carl. I think it's Beher. I think he's done some stuff for Jacobin too. He's pretty good. Check him out. He says Bernie would have already won. There's a reason Biden supporters predicted a landslide, and a reason that he didn't get it. Up until Election Day, Biden supporters and pundits alike were earnestly contemplating the possibility of a landslide victory over Donald Trump. This may be the biggest landslide victory possible in this polarized country, Stan Greenberg predicted in The Daily Beast. Here's another quote from one of my most favorites. This thing is not going to be close, James Carville said on MSNBC.
Fucking James Carville, dude.
Yeah. Grandpa, fucking get out of here. Ashted Herndon, meanwhile, wrote in the New York Times that, I don't know if there's a paraphrase or a full quote, from the Times. Mr. Biden could pull off a landslide in November, achieving an ambitious and rare electoral blowout. Such a scenario is entirely plausible based on the weeks and the breadth of public polls that show Mr. Biden with leads or edges in key states. There's a reason people were entertaining this possibility, and it had little to do with Biden himself. Donald Trump is the most unpopular president in modern history. He has presided during the current coronavirus pandemic over the deaths of more Americans than Nazis managed to kill during the Second World War. In that time, he has largely left the sick and unemployed to their fates, providing only a brief round of welfare payments that was, by any reasonable standards, miserly and grossly inadequate. He has praised murderous neo-Nazis as very good people. He has personally deployed the police in an assault against peaceful protesters. He brought the U.S. to the brink of possible war and brazenly violated national and international law with the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. And all of this was in the past year.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
This has been a long fucking year, dude.
No shit. We got a whole
And that was how we like almost started out the year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Most of that was just the first 2 months. Pundits predicted a landslide because anyone should have been able to landslide Donald Trump, but that hasn't happened. Even if Biden managed to eke out a win, no sure thing as of this morning. This is on the 5th. Given his dwindling lead in Arizona and his tough road ahead in Pennsylvania, which now we know there's just endless lawyer litigation there.
Mm-hmm.
He still have grossly underperformed. What happened? How did Democrats blow this historic opportunity as they've done, repeatedly? And could anyone have
They did last time.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, 2 in a row. The answer to the last one is clear. If you wanted to landslide Trump, you should have nominated Bernie Sanders. There are 2 strong prongs to this, so let's address them both in turn. 1. Biden's supposed advantages over Sanders have proven to be grossly overstated. One major argument for Biden, promoted by everyone from his campaign to the Lincoln Project, which fuck them, $67 million stolen from the Democratic Party. Not stolen, just given away for free. But the Never Trump pundits was that his candidacy, Biden's, would be uniquely appealing to conservatives and Republicans. But here's what the exit polls have told us so far. Trump's margin over Democratic challenger by demographic. See here, you have the conservatives. You got a 65 to 70 margin. And then over here in the Republicans, you have a 65 to 87 margin, and that's the 2 differences between Trump from 2016 and 2020. Despite highly publicized defections from Trump among elites and a historically unprecedented outreach campaign to Republicans and conservatives, Joe Biden has performed worse among these groups than Hillary Clinton did in 2016. Consider a similar argument for Biden that his ability to avoid the socialist label would pay dividends nationally. Here's what Biden said himself in early February as Sanders began to build momentum during the primaries. He says here, Biden, we not only have to beat Trump, we've got to beat him like a drum. No, we have to win back the Senate. Are you going to walk into any of those states we have to win, like Florida and Georgia and North Carolina? And by the way, referring to Sanders, has described himself as a democratic socialist. So how'd that work out? As of now, Democrats are losing the Senate. Biden may manage to catch up in Georgia when all of the votes are counted, which, as we know, he most likely will. Still, lawyer war.
Yeah.
As of now, he is still losing. He is also likely to lose North Carolina, and he lost Florida decisively. Which is the margins have closed there too. But
yeah, I want to say interestingly, I think Bernie Sanders is the only way to flip Florida there, because his numbers with specifically like Cuban and Latino and Black groups was just insane. So
and just like as they're pointing out with the demographic among these whites too, like look at Florida, they passed the fucking $15 wage.
Yeah,
they went for Trump, so it's like that was one of Bernie's main issues. That his margins just would have easily increased.
And that also tackles on with the overwhelming majority support for Medicare for all.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
All the full legalization of marijuana. Bernie Sanders is the winning ticket for all these states.
Yeah, because marijuana was in Arizona and Montana, some of these relatively conservative states.
Yeah, and it just speaks that when you run as like a populist left candidate, you win because
you absolutely beat these goons.
Exactly, people call themselves conservative. Yeah, but we talked about this before. People don't understand labels. Somebody there's a lot of stories from the early campaign where Bernie would go to these rallies in deep red districts and get standing ovations from room full of conservatives because he's talking about Medicare for all.
Yeah,
and that's just truth, man.
He's talking about giving healthcare to people who need healthcare.
Exactly,
plain and simple. Don't matter what party or who they're affiliated with.
He's talking about bringing real American jobs back into these communities that are well-paid jobs that are the opening a path for unionization, building a strong working class and a strong labor force. and that's the winning ticket. No, and it all takes is somebody to run that, regardless of what party. And that's kind of what Trump did. He ran as a fake populist. He talked about ending the wars. He talked about bringing back the jobs, and that's what won him in the Rust Belt and places like that. He was able to lie and hold on to that momentum that the Democrats were so obviously fucking missing, and that's what. Also, Hillary Clinton being the shittiest candidate to ever run ever in history.
Yeah.
In modern,
Yeah,
in like modern democratic history.
So the only way 2016 was more ironic is that we really did have the two most disliked politicians in the country.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe might not be as disliked, but man, he might just be the next shittiest fucking option they could have found. Jesus.
Which shows how much like media optics really goes into it as well.
Yes. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the next graph he has here, the paragraph that's above it. In his second point, and it kind of ties in what we were talking about. Biden's weaknesses were Sanders' strengths. On top of the supposed advantages of Biden's candidacy that never actually materialized, he also suffered from known weaknesses that came to haunt him at the polls. Consider, for example, how Biden performed with the lowest income bracket. You can see the Democratic margin over Republicans with 50K or lower household incomes. 2008, they had a 22% margin. 2012, same, 22%. Hillary, 12%. Jeez. And then 15% with Joe. Biden may have slightly improved on Clinton's poor showing with poor voters, but he is still significantly underperforming the standards set by Obama in previous years. Not that even Obama's fucking standard was very great either. Like, how are you not just outright winning people that make under 50K if you're the People's Party, right?
Exactly.
Here in the article still, we have good reason to believe that Sanders, running on a platform of single-payer healthcare, generous welfare benefits, and other programs aimed specifically at the poor, would have fared much better. Here's how their coalitions compared in an analysis I put together in May. Candidate coalitions broken down by income. You can see the Sanders coalition, you can see the Biden coalition, and just look up the brackets they're made up of. And this is, obviously not including the fucking billionaire donors that Biden gets and Sanders gets none.
Yeah.
But, if you look at 100K or more there, that makes up 45% of Biden's coalition, where people that make 50K or less, that make up his coalitions and groups within his campaign, 26%. Whereas Bernie, it's still around 34% for 100K or more, but both within the middle income there, 50 to 100K and 50K and below. I mean, he just balls out 35%.
I mean, they're all pretty close.
Yeah, they're all pretty close, but and Bernie's, look how much more balanced his is in general. Because,
he's a more just diverse coalition.
And that was part of his just the fact that it was all small dollar donations from just random people too. So it's like, his coalition was diverse. It was made up of just people that actually believed in his campaign, not just wealthy people that decided to contribute to Biden's campaign.
Yeah.
Note that Sanders also had a higher proportion of voters among the middle income bracket, the group where Biden overperformed, winning a 13-point margin among voters that Democrats have lost since 2008. Meanwhile, the only income group that Biden tended to fare better among, the wealthiest, is the group that he lost to Trump by a decisive 11 points. So, to that point, the group he has the most in his coalition is the most useless to his margins.
Rich people.
Yeah, where Bernie, the middle class, he would have turned him out even more, and it would have done even better. It would have been better for him. These numbers correspond directly with standard socialist intuitions about how a Sanders campaign would have played out. He would have run on class war, running up his margins among the poor and middle income brackets, i.e. the overwhelming majority of voters, while boxing Trump among the wealthiest voters. And while one has to take primary season head-to-head cross stabs with a big grain of salt, the fuck is that? What is that? They typically affirm this scenario. Sanders outperforming Biden against Trump among the lower two income brackets, while Biden outperforming him among the top. And we can stop after this. But Sanders also performed strongly among another major voting group that Biden struggled with, Latinos, which we saw on Twitter. This is why I wanted to end it here, kind of. But we saw on Twitter like people just trying to blast like the Latin community as though they're like race traitors or something. Yeah. Without understanding both the class dynamics within the Latino community, as well as like this whole point too that, yeah, Sanders would have played better with Latinos. Nationally, Trump won 4 points back in 2020 from Clinton's 38-point margin in 2016. While this may seem like a slim gain, Latinos may end up, yeah, as we know, it's in all these decisive states that he really got, and that's how he locked it up in Florida, presumably too. Mm-hmm. Skipping to the end of that paragraph, and in the former, Sanders, the former's in the Texas, Nevada rather, the Nevada contest. Sanders won by a stunning 36-point margin. In the latter, Uncle Bernie, Tio Bernie, won by a decisive 13 points. So he won by 13 points in Texas and 36-point margin in Nevada among Latinos. So yeah, he would have and some of these decisive states, I don't know if Bernie could have turned Texas blue, but he quite possibly could have. On top of winning Nevada by a fucking huge margin.
In my honest opinion, despite my obvious bias, he's being a Bernie bro. I see Bernie flipping not only Texas but Florida as well.
I see the whole state going blue.
Just being real, like if you think Bernie would do worse than Biden, like you're nuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're just stuck in like an elitist bubble.
Like,
yeah, you have no idea what real people actually need.
Like all of us with any basic intuition or just knowledge of normal people, like it's obvious Bernie would have fucking balled.
Because he just has simple, basic appeals.
Yeah.
To the needs of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously showing it's really hard to beat that.
Yeah.
Which is why they had to form the massive establishment coalition behind Joe Biden to...
Yep.
Right. Yeah, Michael, what do you think about the caustic state of capitalism?
Interesting, Michael. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really think about it like that, but I'm really starting to get it now. I see.
Genius,
yeah.
Michael. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, he's doing the tubing. He's got his dick out.
Wait, Michael. Your last name is Trotsky?
Yeah, check out Carl Beher though. I thought that was a pretty. Obviously, it's stuff we already realized, but it just further to show Bernie would have balled up, and Biden was maybe quite possibly the worst choice that the Democratic Party could have chose, other than maybe like Hillary again or something.
Fuck, dude. I don't know what I'd do if they got Hillary again.
1 or 2 points, like, don't you remember like that almost being like a possibility?
Yes, I do.
Nuts.
There's like a few times where like it was floated that she's gonna come in. Yeah, I would have jumped off a fucking building.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want to talk a little?
Or yeah. Then we have like.
We're running
rant. Yeah,
we're running about 2 hours.
I think we've gotten enough pot shots on them for now. Unless there's any final statements we got.
I'll do something super quick, and then maybe we can talk about it deeper on the next show.
On Sunday, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm gonna touch on this really quick, and then we'll do a little outro and let you guys go to sleep. A couple things that Biden has pretty much confirmed he's gonna do, and something that we can actually hold him accountable for. As his base, a couple things that we missed touching on. that are like he said day one, first week, like that area, like things he's gonna do as soon as he gets into office, which are like substantive, like actual policy, and it's a step in the right direction. First off, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, which obviously isn't far enough, but it's a step in the right direction and getting us back on track to where we need to be. And just eliminating the additional hurdles set in place by Trump, reversing the Muslim ban, which is that's a net positive. It's a good that's like a substantively good thing. Reinstating DACA, protecting the dreamers, which doesn't go far enough, obviously. Like that's the real theme here.
So these are all pretty much basic, like bare minimum stuff that you'd expect.
Exactly. But it's getting us back to where we were, which is obviously better than where we are now. It's obviously a positive, regardless of how marginal. It is a positive, and we have to be real about that.
Yeah, we can be honest.
Yeah,
but when we see it, we'll give him credit.
Yeah, and I think this to me is the biggest thing besides the $50 minimum wage, which he's languished. Is the reverse of all of the Trump rollbacks of Obama's health and environmental rules, which is just like so blatantly gonna positively affect lots, like a lot of this nation. And like again, it's the same theme. It doesn't go far enough, but it is in the short term going to help a lot of people, and I think that is obviously a net positive, and it's something very good, and it's something that he is confirmed, and that's something we can hold him completely accountable for during the beginning of the Biden presidency, which is a good thing. And we'll have more to talk about this hopefully on Sunday, and hopefully more develops that we can talk about as well. But I think these are just a couple quick things that are substantive policy positions that we can hold them accountable to, and that is obviously a net positive. And if anybody else had anything to say, go ahead.
Yeah, let's not be disillusioned though. That, like, this is still just talk for now.
Yeah, it is definitely it is language at this point, and once we see the actual policy signed, we can breathe a bit easier. But yeah, definitely still,
And plus, like I said, let's treat this as the bare minimum. Like, let's not go to sleep. Like, we can't let that happen again.
No, yeah, but yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, improving on what Trump fucked
acknowledge
up. Yeah,
that it is.
Yeah.
I heard something recently from, I think it was Cornel West actually. It's kind of like his, when taking in information like that, like how to think about it, and Carlos said it too, but it's like just calling it what it is, like not saying it's just they're fucking neoliberal scum.
Yeah.
Trump is neo-fascist scum. One leads to the other. They are what they are. We understand the differences between them, and that's how we should talk about it. And it's like, yeah, the neoliberals, what they're going to do is out of one side of their mouth, they are going to try to offer you some of these concessions, and they might materialize the bare minimum things. But we have to, in the other hand, hold, at the same time, like we know they've lied to us again and again.
Yeah, 1 million%.
And then it's the same thing with Trump. We acknowledge, not that, although Trump himself is really a fucking ideological void, as we know, but
yeah,
the whole neo-fascist wing, I guess, you have to hold those same thing,
Yeah.
When Trump does something good, we call it like it is.
Yeah.
But we still realize, overall what his, the ideology that's been filled in there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the really shitty position we are in as the left is we have to an extent fold to neoliberalism just to combat fascism, like literal fascism. And it sucks because we continue to give concessions to give away our power, and
because we continue don't have any means.
Exactly, we have the left coalition is just not unified whatsoever, and sadly that means we have to give concessions to neoliberals to stop fascism,
I guess.
Yeah, it's a
But,
Yeah, so maybe,
just understand, just calling, just generally out what is,
yes.
Well, at least from one perspective, I hope at least the people who voted for Biden see that if you really thought he was the safe choice, then watch his presidency play out, and see if this is what the safe choice really entails.
Yeah, in the conglomerate, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're cool here.
But we're gonna try to do a Sunday show, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Definitely.
a Sunday night, we believe.
Yeah, Sunday
That's what everyone voted on.
Sunday night is what the people said. So
Same time. Does that?
yeah,
That's what we.
same time.
That would be nice. We can keep our same kind of viewership time.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little subculture, maybe. That'd be cool.
So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for sticking with us. It's about to be 1 a.m. over here on the West Coast. 7 people rocking with us. That's super cool. Thank you guys. We really appreciate
an interview coming on next Wednesday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have. Do you want to leak it?
Your decision.
We're gonna have a Brahm on. We're gonna have the we're gonna have the boy of Brahm on. He's gonna talk about he's gonna talk about what's going on in Mexico right now, and it's it sounded interesting from just the.
We'll leave it light. We're gonna give him the stage.
He's gonna talk about some stuff. It's interesting. I think you guys would like it. So yeah, thank you for rocking with us. It's about to be 1 a.m. We're gonna let you guys go. Thank you guys for the follows. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Does anybody have anything else to say, or can I finish this? Wrap it up? Cool. As I always say, at the end of every show, we have to be the change. We have to continue to, work hard where we are in our locality.
We gotta change minds and hearts.
Exactly, man. And workers of the world unite. We gotta be us. Like, we gotta have international solidarity. So thank you guys for rocking with us. Good night, and we will see you hopefully on Sunday. Keep up to date on Twitter at Spoop Podcast for any updates. So yeah, let's get the cameras cuts and let's get the last song playing. Thank you guys. Cheers.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind.
Funny how the wax figures begin to melt, regardless of how you felt. We're just books up on a shelf that's searching for some help, tossing coins and wishing wells, caught up inside the swell, but I'm here so you can tell. Get it to the top no matter what's in front of me, searching for the creator that asks why they punish me. 100 seats in the crowd, connect with everyone. Hope my mother's proud of her imaginary son. Off in La La Land, trying to make sense of it. Got a hard shell, but everybody know we sensitive. E.T. trying to figure out a human, planting all the seeds on my path until they're blooming.